2 5/8 inches. So just keep that in mind, because when I was trying to square them up, my ruler always wanted to go to 2 1/2. And I had to remind myself every single time that I was doing 2 5/8. So just be really careful that you don't cut them too small. All right, I'm going to turn my camera down like usual and show you what I'm working on. Now, there are 2 different kinds of squares that are cut and used for this block. The ones for your half square triangles are cut just like they have done all this time, of taking a square and cutting it on the diagonal and then seaming your 2 pieces together to make your half square triangle. They also, on the triangles that are on the ends of the fabric, the ends of the rows that make the corners of your blocks, they're using triangles, but they are a different kind of triangle. These triangles are made from a 4 1/4 inch square that is cut twice on the diagonal. And the difference between that and your regular half square triangles are, they're done this way for the stability of the triangle. When you are doing a regular half square triangle, your bias is along this one edge, and this is all straight of grain on the other sides. By doing the triangle this way, where they cut it both directions on the diagonal, that makes the bias edges on the inside edges that will be seamed, and then it also leaves the straight of grain out on the corner where the outside edges of your block will be, so they're less likely to stretch that way. So I wanted you to understand why we make them in different methods depending on where they are to be used in the block. So make sure you keep these separate from your other triangles that you're making your half square triangles out of. As always, like I said before, you are welcome to make your half square triangles however you want, as long as they end up being 2 5/8 inches. When you are pressing your half square triangles, the light ones, the ones with the lighter of the 2 colors, will be pressed towards the background, and the ones with the darker of the 2 colors will be pressed towards the dark. All right, then there is a diagram in your block instructions, and you're making one long piece that will go diagonally. It will end up diagonally in your block, which is a little unusual, but it's very effective in this case. So the diagram shows you exactly how to lay it out. So this piece starts with the pink on one side and the red on the other. And again, follow your diagram. It also has you press your seams on your half square triangles, because you're putting your half square triangles together into pairs. And because you've pressed them different ways, your dark is going this way and your light is going this way, then that seam right there nests very nicely to make your point. All right, so again, they have you press them, alter your seam alternating ways, and it shows it in your pattern, so just follow that. And this piece is long enough that I've had to make it into 2 separate strips here. But I want you to notice that when you get down to the 3rd half square triangle pair, they change colors on you. So just be sure that you do that, and then you're going to change direction. So then this unit, when it gets sewn together, will look like a 1/4 square triangle. All right, then you continue going again with the color change, the opposite direction, and also the direction change of the points now going the opposite direction. And you will begin and end your rows with these little triangles that I talked about previously that have the straight of grain on the outside edge. And again, you will put them, you'll sew them, all 4 of them, you'll sew the same with the light on one side. But again, look at your pattern to make sure that you're sewing them with the correct side. It ends up with the light going along with the light on both. All right, I'm going to sew this whole section together, and then I will come back and show it to you and then move on to the next step. The center unit is done, and as you can see, we've got this 4-patch unit in the center. I wanted to draw attention also that when you're sewing this seam of this what looks like a 1/4 square triangle, but it is in fact 4 half square triangles, that these seams out here on the edges will nest also in addition to the center seam. So I just wanted to draw that to your attention. Also, there are pressing instructions of which way to press the seams as you put them in. So some of them you press out, and some of them you press in. The ones on either side of the center, you're going to press towards the center. But just, you know, pay attention to your pattern and the diagram, and you'll get through it just fine. All right, then we're going to construct 2 outer corner, I'm going to call them corner units. This is, I have laid out one of the 2 corner units, and they're constructed like our previous piece with pairs of half square triangles. And again, they have you pressing the seams alternating ways, and you'll nest this seam to make your point, just like you did on the previous unit. You're going to use one of the corner cut triangles for out at the end, because that will eventually be the corner of your block. We've also got these D triangles, and we're using a nice kind of a focus fabric for that coordinates with the other 2 pieces that we've used. So we'll be sewing these 3 together, and then we will be sewing these to the outer edge, and when the seams are all taken off, they will be corner units. We're going to make 2 of those. Again, follow your directions as to the placement of the colors so everything comes out correctly. I will come back and show you when the corner units are finished how we assemble the rest of the block. I have the 2 corner units made, and as you can see, the edges of your block, the stitching should come down at right where the 1/4 inch is of where your 2 triangles, the V of your 2 triangles, where they come together. And so then that makes your the edge of your block should be pretty straight there. You're welcome to trim off those little tips. There are little tips also on your center unit and your side units. I like to trim those off just so I have a very straight edge to sew against, but if you prefer to leave them on, it's your choice. So I've made 2 of these corner units, and again, watch your diagram on your pattern so you know which way to press everything. So then this will fit in, and the seams will nest on these units when you're sewing your 2 corner units to the center. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and show you how that works out for us. I will tell you, you're going to be nesting these seams, and you will be nesting the center seam. And then hopefully, again, like I said, I'm going to be trimming off those little tips, but then hopefully the edges will be straight because the triangle tips will be in the right places. Again, I will show you that when I get it done. All right, so our block is done. As you can see, there's quite a bit going on in it. And it kind of makes a little bit of a pinwheel with the red that is going a different direction in each quadrant of the block. So it's kind of cool how the pink and the red both kind of pinwheel there. The edges did match pretty well. You've got little tips that are hanging out all over, so you're welcome to square up your block to 12.5 inches if you need to, or if you just want to trim off the little tips to get rid of them. But it's a very striking block, I think, and it's got a lot going on. So I hope you really enjoy making this block. It does fit together very nicely. The pattern is very well written. So just follow your instructions, check your diagram a lot, and you should be fine. We'll see you back tomorrow.